I want to share something today that changed everything for me about why people get stuck, why there is a loop, why there is any of this, why there is a testing for us to go through. What is this learning curvature? What is happening? And this is not the surface stuff, not the bad habits or the wrong strategies, the deep stuff. The stuff that was written into you before you even knew you were being written. Every emotional patterns running in your life as a founder today was formed in one of the three specific window of your time. And listen to this very carefully. Try to guess which one are you from. Ages 1 to 7, 7 to 14, and 14 to 21. And the reason you cannot just decide to be different, the reason knowing better does not automatically means doing better, is because what is happening and what happened in those window of the years I mentioned is not stored in your mind. It is stored in your body itself as a charge, and that charge fires before your logic gets a chance to respond. Talk about each window 1 to 7, 7 to 14, and 14 to 21. In 1 to 7, this is the imprint phase, you can call it. Your nervous system is wide open. Everything lands directly. And this is the child when you're young, you're dynamic. Most of it, you can say, gets influenced by your schooling and your environment and your house environment of your connection with your parents. But this is where there's no filter zone, no context. You are who you are. There's no adult reasoning to make sense of what is happening. A parent who is emotionally inconsistent in this phase, even occasionally, creates a charge around unpredictability. A child who is praised specifically for being useful creates a charge around performance equaling love. Whatever emotional events happen in this window gets written in an absolute truth, not opinion here, truth. So your identity that gets shifted later on can be one of those where you're not able to say no to a bad deal. You're not able to tell no to people because you happen to be little on the people pleaser side. Let's go to the second window, which is 7 to 14. This is the social phase you start measuring, and measuring yourself with others. School, friendships, comparison begins. The charge formed here are usually around belonging. Am I enough? Do I fit? Am I worth including? A child who gets rejected by peers in this phase often develops an approval loop that runs for the rest of their life. A child who discovers that achievement gets them notice often becomes the achiever whose loop never lets them rest. They always have to be in a performing state. And when they're not performing, they are always in an overthinking zone. What is it that they can do? Let's talk about also the scenario which governs all this. Is most of the scenarios during, especially during the school phase, there's a high chance you get picked upon you were picked upon when you were a kid, and those all memories also stay, and they all translate into the one person you have become. Now, talking about the third window, which is 14 to 21, is very important phase as well. This is the identity phase. You start constructing the version of yourself you will present to the world, the persona, and the charges formed here are usually around the gap between who you actually are and who you decided to perform. So, a teenager who learned that vulnerability gets punished becomes an adult who cannot show weakness. This happens especially in male kids. They have been taught since childhood that male person shouldn't cry. Men don't cry. So, a young person who discovered that being the fixer keeps people close becomes the founder who cannot say no. Again, related to the first one. So, here is why this matters for founders, especially. The charges from all three windows travels with you into every business decisions, every partnership, every client relationship, every moment of pressure. The 1 to 7 charge shows up when something feels suddenly unsafe, even when it is not. Your nervous system fires as if you are 7 years old in an unsafe environment and you react accordingly. The 7 to 14 charge shows up whenever you are being evaluated, a pitch, a review, a piece of feedback. Your system goes back to the school playground and asks, am I enough? Am I included? And the 14 to 21, one charge shows up in your identity, the gap between who you perform and who you actually are, the imposter feeling, the inability to show struggle, the exhaustion of maintaining a version of yourself that started as a teenage survival strategy. None of this is permanent. This is where we learn about letting go of your old identity. When you're asking the universe for more, you're even developing yourself to be more. And in that development phase, all this gets rectified, gets clear. It's like a new blank slate, is where you start from, but with much more newer values and newer identity. But who will take into account the years of struggle, the hardship, the emotional pain, the negativity, all of that stuff? That is important to be considered. So, none of this is permanent, like I said, but none of it clears by itself either. It clears when you see it, when you locate the original charge, the specific event in the specific window, feel it fully, understand the belief it created, and consciously choose a different one. That is the only way. First is awareness. But what will you do by getting aware? You'll get much more pissed about the scenarios that will keep on occurring if you don't do anything about it. Because right now, if you're aware, you know where the issue is, but you're not doing anything about it, it will haunt you, it'll trouble you. And let's say you decide to do something, that is where you consciously start taking minor steps toward first coming out of the emotional loops. Only when you're out of it, you go in the observer mode. Now this observer mode is because you are so calm right now. By coming out of this emotional loops, You can view yourself from an observer perspective. You can see any issues, any experiences, any decision, any business, any relationship, anything from a third perspective now. And when you're in third perspective, when you're seeing it, you understand yourself, you understand the person in front of you, you understand the system around you, you understand a lot more deeper than what you understand by staying in the tunnel vision with the same emotional responses. So let's say now you're out of it. Now you consciously choose alignment, that you start aligning with yourself, with that is when you'll start getting insights. Those insights are nothing but guiding you towards your own purpose. And whatever you believe, whatever you want to do, whatever you want to achieve is done through this methodology. So, if you are a founder who has been wondering why you keep reacting the same way despite knowing better, this is why. The charge is older than business, older than a job, older than a relationship. It was formed before you had the language to question it. And here's the important thing: clearing it does not mean forgetting it, it means completing it. The event happened, the charge formed, and now, for the first time, you can look at it with the adult eyes and decide whether the belief is created holds still true at the current stage of life. Most of the time, it is not. So, I help founders locate and create and clear out this charges in my clarity calls. Not through the years of therapy, through specific, honest conversation. And when the pattern started and what it is still costing you, everything. Free call, 30 minutes. DM me call on Instagram at Reset Entropy. I will see you on Thursday.